Great. So, like you guys have guessed, I work for the Forest Stewardship Council, FSC. Our mission is to basically ensure that there's forests for future generations. So for all of you in the classroom, for all your kids, and their kids, that there'll be forests around for them when they are around. We look at we look at three different chambers or three different parts of the forest: the environmental part, the social part, and the economic part. So we need to make sure that environmentally that they're sound, that they have all the animals are protected, the water's protected. We look at the social part to make sure that people who live off the land are protected and people have health and safety rules and regulations that they can follow. And then we look at the economic part to ensure that the forests are not completely cut down and then there's no economics left. We need to make forests are a good way to use. It's a renewable resource, so we want to keep forests around in a healthy way so they can continue to be around for us. I think yesterday you were talking a little bit about carbon, and with carbon, trees love to suck up the carbon and keep the carbon, and then what they do is they produce oxygen for us. So they're like our lungs, so we really need forests.
So
it's a mission-driven. Okay.
Yeah, students, as Emily is speaking right now, if she says something that is of interest to you, you can use the Nearpod question here to write other kinds of questions that are follow-up questions to the information that she's sharing with you at this time. Continue, Emily.
Thanks. It's a mission-driven, membership-based organization to ensure forests for future generations. It's a certification program, so the forest needs to go through an audit to ensure that it has responsible forest measures in place when the trees are taken, and when they're taken, and which ones are taken, and how. And then companies that then use that wood to make paper, to make packaging, to make tables and chairs, they need to be certified to show that they have a tracking system in place to keep their certified material separate from their non-certified.
What does it mean? What does it mean if somebody is using non-certified wood? What's the problem with that?
Non-certified wood, certified wood, no, it means that it's coming from a responsibly managed forest or a sustainable forest. If it's not certified, you don't have that assurance. It could be from a responsibly managed forest, or it could be from, the rainforest that's being destroyed.
So, in other words, the wood that's like that we make our buildings out of, for example, we don't usually think about where that wood comes from. So, does your job
Right.
Does your job make sure that when we use wood for making things, that it's coming from places that are responsible forestry places around the world?
That's right. Yep. So I have some pictures of logos. Here's just a 2x4, but this is a certified 2x4. So if you go to Home Depot and you're trying to find certified wood so you know where it came from and that it's from a responsibly managed forest, then you can look for our logo. Here's a package that has the FSC logo on it.
Yes.
And then here's the other little logo down here. That's the logo that you're looking for. So that means that this packaging came from well-managed forests or it has recycled content in it.
So we've heard a lot about forests, like say from rainforest areas in the Amazon jungles that are in danger because of over harvesting. They're cutting down forests that are of endangered trees and that sort of thing. So if we see that label FSC logo on wood that we are using for whatever products we have, can we be assured that it doesn't come from those endangered areas?
That is correct, yes. There may be some, we have I have a picture showing a map of certified forests, this next one. So the dark green shows where the most certified forests are, and the lighter one shows where the least amount is, or there's none that's certified.
So talk.
So we do have certified forests in the Amazon, and that's a good thing. We need, oh, go ahead.
So in this map, the dark green area, explain a little bit again about what that dark green means.
The dark green means that the most FSC certified forests are in these areas. So here in the US and Canada, we're really lucky. There's a lot of certified land. Specifically in Minnesota, there's a lot of certified land. Um, there are some areas that are certified down here in South America, but it's not as concentrated. So there's, just to give some sort of perspective, it's a big number, but there's 462 million acres that are FSC certified, and an acre is about the size of a football field. To give you some sort of idea, that's a lot of millions of forests that are certified.
How do you go about getting more countries to certify their wood so that more forests are protected? How do you go about doing that?
Sometimes it's government. So in the U.S., a lot of times government buildings need to be part of it's called a LEED certification program to make sure it's an efficient building, like you talked with your mystery guest yesterday. One of the ways to get a point for that system is to ensure that your wood is FSC certified. So sometimes there's a demand from governments. Sometimes it's all of you guys who are in the classroom right now looking for the products. Here's another one, Band-Aid. It's FSC certified. Oh, I'm not getting in there. Packaging. So if you look for the logo, I'm sure you'll be able to find it around.
Emily,
here's one more common. Puffins. I don't know if you guys like puffins.
Is FSC an organization from Minnesota? Is it an organization from the United States, or is it a worldwide organization?
Good question. It's a global certification program, so it's worldwide. Minnesota happens to be where the U.S. headquarters are located. There's a Canada location. There's Spain location. We have different chapters throughout the world. There's 80 different offices in different countries.
So you had said earlier that you do a lot of traveling. You travel to other countries. Why do you travel to other countries, and what do you do when you travel?
I work for the international organization, which is based in Germany, and I work on standard setting. So when a standard is changed, it impacts all companies that are certified globally. So I've been traveling around to consult with different companies and different organizations in different parts of the world to see how potential changes may impact them.
So a question that came in from Daniel and Abram just now is, what do you want people to do to protect the forest?
I want people to look for FSC certified products and buy them, because that means that we are continuing to use wood products, and if we continue to use wood, then that means that the forests are valued more. And I want you to go out and enjoy the parks too. Here's one more good product. It's easy to find in the stores. I don't know if you can see it. Kleenex, FSC certified. You can see the logo. Once you start looking for it, you'll be able to find it.
I want you to start looking for that when you go shopping now.
Isaac from Lake Elmo asks a very good question, Emily, and I think that a lot of our students would gain from this question here. He asked the question, what does stewardship mean?
Stewardship. It means that you are taking care of something. So we are the Forest Stewardship Council. So we want to take care of the forest, make sure that it's around. We don't want to necessarily just protect the forest and preserve the forest. We want to use the forest in a responsible way.
And I think that Isaac from Oak Park here also has a good question. He asked the question, are you required to still let people log trees?
Yes, there's some specific areas that if it's an endangered area or it's a threatened area because of the trees, the plants, or the um, uh, trees, plants, any the animals. If there's people who are living on the land and it's a sacred area for them, then you cannot log in those specific areas.
Jeremy asked the question, is it guaranteed that there will be forests in the future?
I hope so.
Julie from Lake Elmo says, do you replant trees?
I don't specifically replant trees, but that's part of a lot of foresters' management plans. Some foresters cut trees and they replant more trees. But the goal is to make sure we don't want people just to cut a nice, beautiful, diverse forest and plant one type of tree where the animals aren't happy and it's only one type of tree. So we want to ensure that the diversity is there too.
Even though we maybe have said this already, it's worth repeating, Emily. Kyle from Lake Elmo asked the question, what does the words of FSC mean?
FSC means the Forest Stewardship Council.
Forest Stewardship Council. And
Mm-hmm.
Katie from Lake Elmo wants to know, can we also plant trees to help?
Yes, you definitely can. Yep. Just like I said at the beginning, the trees, they suck up carbon and they give us great clean oxygen.
Kaylee and Tiana from North Park have an interesting question also. They say, what kind of wood do you save the most? Is there such a thing? Do you have a certain kind of wood that you save more than other kinds of wood?
That's a really good question. There's some trees like the big redwoods in California that people love and we want to protect them. But we also certify them, meaning that we can cut those and ensure that if you need a specific type of wood from the tropics or a redwood tree, you can find that and buy it from a sustainably managed forest. So we don't there's some, if it's an endangered species, we won't certify that. But if it's, we want to keep these trees around.
Lauren and Lydia from North Park asked the question about, can you tell us about what you do after you cut down the trees? For example, are new trees planted or do they leave it alone? I mean, what does it mean to when you have a certified forest? What do they mean by that?
It means that there's a management plan in place so they know when to cut the trees and which trees to cut. They could have part of that management plan to plant more trees, or the management plan could be to selectively cut several trees and then other trees will naturally regenerate and grow.
So I see you have a slide up here called the chain of custody. What does that mean, Emily?
I do. So we have this program called Chain of Custody. So once the forest is FSC certified right here, the wood is cut and it's sent to some sort of manufacturer. This one is a picture of a paper mill. It could be a lumber mill. It could be any type of primary manufacturing. That company would need to be certified to ensure that they have controls in place to get wood from certified forests and keep it separate from other wood. And then they make paper. They could sell it to a printer. And then the printer, the book, could have the FSC logo on it. And again, this is the logo that you're looking for.
Yeah, look at this logo.
So chain of custody, it's like a tracking system from the forest to the end user.
It ends with the box of Kleenex or the paper. Look.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
We have
I have another slide.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, good. There's the logo that you were talking about. Okay.
I attempted to draw the
Yeah. So in the U.S., you could go to Home Depot and find certified furniture, outdoor furniture. A lot of government buildings have certified wood in it. The Twin Stadium has a lot of certified wood. A lot of catalogs are FSC certified. Let's see. I got a gift card for Christmas that's FSC certified. The back of it.
Even a gift card.
So it's actually a paper gift card. Cool. Guitars can be certified, musical instruments can be certified, any wood product. It's really interesting to think about all the products that we use every day. Your pencil could be certified.
The last question that came from one of our students doesn't have anything to do with the content itself, but more about you. And the question is, how old were you when you decided that you wanted to do this kind of work?
I didn't know that FSC existed, but I knew I wanted to do something like this when I was in high school.